protect the economy. Well, what were they doing at the time? Well, they were working with this guy, and they were lowering rates. They were making it easier to get money. Making it easier, they took money and made it less cheap, made it more enticing, and they gave it to these people, and they gave it to these people. Got it? All while Alan Greenspan is on record blaming China. When he's saying it's China, it's China, it's China. Renowned economist Anna Schwartz said, there has never been a subprime mortgage crisis if the Fed had been alert. This is something Alan Greenspan must answer for. Well, he had to have some pretty good advisors around, right? I mean, Alan Greenspan, he's no dummy. The Greenspan had a bunch of advisors. He does. He has a bunch of people. They have a bunch of chairs. They have 12 Fed chairs all around the country. And really smart people sit in these Fed chairs, and they oversee things like Goldman Sachs. They oversee Citigroup or Bank of America. That's their job. In fact, the guy who sat in one of these chairs, the Fed chair, the New York Fed chair, it was his job under Alan Greenspan to watch these guys, to make sure that everything was on the up and up, make sure nothing is wrong. The Fed's only job is to stand as a sentinel to guard against nefarious bankers. Greenspan's job was to guard the economy of the United States. That's his job. Now, while all these banks and Goldman Sachs are coming up with things I can't even explain to you, they can't. CDOs, Greenspan and the rest of them, they didn't see it coming. No. They didn't see it coming. So if I left the story like this, I would have to say I agree with the president, because they just didn't see it coming. They didn't know. They had no idea. Maybe that guy should have known, but how did he know? And this guy? Well, I don't know. But it was really these guys pumping it out. Right? Right? Well, when I come back in a second, I'm going to show you the solution that the president is working on, and I'm going to fill out some of these chairs and some of these other things, and you tell me if the solution sounds like a solution or another problem. Next. All right. Here's the problem with the banks. You know, remember, because President Obama, he's going to fix the banks by going after the bad banks. That's what he's going to do. We've shown you the evildoer villains, banks, Goldman Sachs, and the people who are supposed to watch over us, overseeing them, the Fed. But the Fed was too busy making really cheap money and helping consumers and George W. Bush get into these risky loans, right? Well, Alan Greenspan retired, and when he did, he said, I think this is pretty much a quote, I didn't even understand the CDOs. He didn't know what was going on, he said. Okay? But we need a replacement for him as the Fed chair. Now, this is still under Bush. This is before we're really into anything. Who does he pick? Ben Bernanke. Alan Greenspan didn't see this stuff coming. But surely Ben Bernanke did. Right?
Unquestionably, housing prices are up quite a bit. I think it's important to note that fundamentals are also very strong. We've got a growing economy, jobs, incomes. We've got very low mortgage rates.
What is the worst case scenario if, in fact, we were to see prices come down substantially across the country?
Well, I guess I don't buy your premise. It's a pretty unlikely possibility. We've never had a decline in house prices on a nationwide basis.
There's a reasonable possibility that we'll see some strengthening of the economy sometime during the middle of the year. Overall, the U.S. economy appears likely to expand at a moderate pace over the second half of 2007, with growth then strengthening a bit in 2008 to a rate close to the economy's underlying trend.
Person of the Year, Ben Bernanke. Maybe it's because he was new, you know. He just got there. He didn't know. Except the problem is he's been at the Fed for years. In fact, do you remember I showed you this little chair down here, the Fed chair? There's 12 Fed chairs, and there's one New York Fed chair. This guy is the guy who oversees all the Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, Citigroup, all of that guy. This is the guy who stands as a sentinel again in New York. Make sure nothing bad is happening here. Well, that guy, what a moron that guy was, huh? Good thing we now have this guy who didn't see it coming. But who was this man? Who was this man that was sitting in that chair? Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Well, when George Bush left, we got a new guy. And we want to get that guy in that New York Fed chair, because he didn't see any of that. We want to get that guy and put him in as our new Treasury Secretary. Ho, things aren't going well now, are they? Yeah. Now he's in the mix. Oh, golly. If you're trying to solve the problem, we just selected the two people that didn't see it coming. They didn't see it coming when it was melting down. They were supposed to stand as sentinels. That's their only job. But I'm sure that because our president has absolutely zero economic experience, none. I don't even know if he's worked at a McDonald's and made change. None. He's a lawyer and a professor. Surely he's smart enough to find some good people who could point him in the right direction economically, right? Oh, he's found some really good people to clean up this mess. Really good people. He's done a blue ribbon panel. I'll show them to you next. All right, so Barack Obama, he wants a blue ribbon panel to help him figure out what really went wrong with the economy. He's done a good job so far. So far we have the replacement for Alan Greenspan, who I just showed you, has no idea what was happening. He didn't see this coming at all. The meltdown, didn't see it coming. By the way, he's the person of the year. We got him. The guy who was in the Fed chair, the New York chair, was supposed to oversee Goldman Sachs. We got him in the Obama administration. And Obama's got a few other advisors. Now, look at these people. These are great advisors that he's picked. They all have one thing in common, and this is fantastic, because remember, evil Goldman Sachs, let's get those bankers. They have all one thing in common. Watch this. This is, here they come. Uh-oh, Goldman Sachs. Uh-oh, Goldman Sachs. Uh-oh, Goldman Sachs. Uh-oh, Goldman Sachs. I'm starting to notice a pattern here. So Goldman Sachs was the problem. The guy who was overseeing Bank of America and everything else, he's now our Treasury Secretary. He can't even figure out TurboTax. These guys are all from Goldman Sachs. Gee, I wonder what their advice might be. As I see this, you know what it is? Do we have those pictures? I think it's a little like this, okay? I think it's like saying, let's hire these people, okay? Bonnie and Clyde. Say, hey, you two, we need some help. We got to catch the two people who just robbed the bank. And they're like, oh, okay. All right, well, how can we help you? Well, we don't even know anything about them or anything, but we do have a vague description of them. We know it's a man and a woman, and they look a little like this. Can you help us? Yeah. Can we have the picture real quick? And for security purposes, we're going to need the combination to every safe in the country. Yeah, that's it. While we're looking, we just need the combination to the safe, and we'll start searching all over. In fact, you guys go to the police station and look there. We're going to start at the banks. And by the way, as bad as Bonnie and Clyde were, because that's really who these guys are, Goldman Sachs, as bad as Bonnie and Clyde were, they didn't do nearly as much damage to the country as Al Capone did. Now, in this scenario, who's Al Capone? Oh, I didn't even mention Al Capone. It's Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. No one's even looking at those guys. They're the Al Capone of this story. Oh, by the way, you know, the president, he talked about, giving everybody student loans, taking care of that last night. You know who the government uses to handle all that money and give everybody loans? Yeah, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. It's going to turn out well, don't you think? Back in a minute. By the way, because we had an argument in the break, Fannie does student loans, Freddie does not, but Fannie does, and Sally does. But the reason why I lump them all together is because mom, dad, child. I mean, it's the same stuff. Now, don't forget, this Saturday, the Bold Fresh Tour is going to be simulcast live in theaters all across the country, and you will see myself and Bill O'Reilly together on stage. Don't forget, go to fathomevents.com to be able to get tickets. And one more thing. Tomorrow is the truth on the progressives like you've never seen it. Don't miss it. From New York, good night, America.